Welcome, dear listeners, to our journey into Buddha's wisdom. As the famous saying goes, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. Buddha. Today, we're going to delve into a topic that touches us all at some point in our lives. The pain of betrayal and how we can find healing through the wisdom of Buddha's teachings. Just imagine, you walk into your own party, only to find an uninvited guest sitting in your place. A feeling of betrayal seeps into your heart, like a shadow creeping over a sunny field. You're caught off guard, left wondering how someone you trusted could invite an outsider to take your seat. In our lives, we often come across such unexpected surprises, uninvited guests, if you will. These moments of betrayal, of deceit, can feel like a piercing arrow, straight to the heart. But don't worry, this journey isn't about dwelling in the pain. It's about understanding it, learning from it, and ultimately, healing from it. We'll explore an old Buddhist tale, draw parallels between our modern lives and the ancient wisdom, and then guide you on the path to healing. We'll also delve into how we can apply Buddha's teachings in our everyday lives to overcome the pain of betrayal. So buckle up, my friends. Let's dive into the wisdom of Buddha and find healing in his teachings. In the next scene, we'll meet our uninvited guest. Are you ready? Imagine you walk into your own party only to find an uninvited guest sitting in your place. A feeling of betrayal seeps into your heart, like a shadow creeping over a sunny field. You're caught off guard, left wondering how someone you trusted could invite an outsider to take your seat. In our lives, we often come across such unexpected surprises, uninvited guests, if you will. These moments of betrayal, of deceit, can feel like a piercing arrow straight to the heart. But have you ever thought about what these feelings truly are? In the ancient teachings of Buddhism, this emotional turmoil is identified as a form of suffering known as dukkha. Dukkha, in its simplest form, is the dissatisfaction, the discomfort we experience in our lives. It's not just about physical pain, but emotional distress as well. It encompasses all the moments of unease, of not feeling quite right, of feeling as if something or someone has upset the balance of your world. When we feel betrayed, when trust is broken, it's a potent form of dukkha. It's a wound that goes deep, touching the very core of who we are. But why is it so? Why does betrayal hurt so much? It's because we invest our trust, our emotions, our very selves in our relationships. When that trust is broken, it's not just a relationship that's damaged, it's a part of us that feels the pain. But here's the thing, my friends, this feeling of betrayal, this dukkha, it's not something that we need to run from. It's not something to be feared. It's a part of our human experience. It's a lesson, a teacher, showing us the impermanence of things, the ever-changing nature of life. Instead of allowing this pain to consume us, to define us, we can learn from it, we can grow from it, we can use it as a stepping stone towards understanding, towards healing, towards a deeper awareness of ourselves and the world around us. Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So let's explore this further in the next scenes, shall we? Now picture an old Buddhist tale where a man returns home to find another man in his place. In this ancient story, a humble farmer returns to his humble abode after a long day in the fields. Imagine his shock, his heartache, when he finds another man, a stranger, sitting at his hearth, enjoying the meal his wife had lovingly prepared. The farmer's world crumbles. His heart shatters into 1,000 pieces. He feels the sting of betrayal, the salt in his wounds. But he takes a deep breath and remembers the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha taught that life is impermanent, ever-changing, like the seasons, the tides, or the setting sun. This philosophy is known as anicca. Nothing in life is static. Everything is in a constant state of flux. The farmer's happiness, his marriage, the love he thought was unshakable, all were subject to this law of impermanence. The farmer also recalls another fundamental teaching of the Buddha, the idea that attachment leads to suffering. The farmer had attached his happiness, his sense of self to his wife, his home, his life as he knew it. And when that life was disrupted, when another man took his place, the farmer suffered. But the Buddha taught that this suffering could be alleviated. By understanding and accepting the impermanence of life, By detaching oneself from the illusion of permanence, one could find peace, even in the midst of heartbreak. So the farmer, though heartbroken, began to see his situation in a new light. He began to understand that his suffering was not due to the actions of his wife or the stranger, but due to his own attachments. He realized that to find peace, he had to let go of his attachments, his expectations, his illusions of permanence. In this ancient tale, we see the embodiment of the Buddha's teachings. We see that even in the face of betrayal, one can find peace. One can alleviate suffering by understanding and accepting the impermanence of life and the idea that attachment leads to suffering. In the words of Buddha, the root of suffering is attachment. Seems familiar, right? The heartache, the betrayal, it's all the same. In both the modern-day scenario of infidelity and the ancient Buddhist tale we've shared, the common thread is suffering. Isn't it intriguing? Regardless of the time, place or culture, the human experience is essentially the same. We love, we trust, and sometimes we get hurt. In the Buddhist story, the protagonist's suffering stemmed from his attachment to his partner, who ultimately betrayed him. He was attached to the idea of his partner, their shared moments, and the future he'd envisioned. When reality shattered his expectations, he was left in a sea of sorrow. Now let's look at our modern-day scenario. The pain of betrayal, the anguish of having your trust broken. These are the echoes of attachment. It's not just about the person who betrayed you, it's about the dreams, the shared moments, the plans you'd made together, the trust you'd built. When that's taken away, it's like losing a part of yourself. In both these narratives, the suffering is not caused by the person who left or betrayed. Instead, it's the attachment to that person, the shared dreams, and the broken trust that causes the real pain. It's the gap between what we want and what we have that triggers the suffering. As Buddha said, the root of suffering is attachment. It's a profound truth that applies to all aspects of our lives, not just romantic relationships. The stronger the attachment, the deeper the pain when that attachment is severed. But here's the silver lining. Just as the cause of suffering is within us, so is the solution. We have the power to manage our attachments, to accept the impermanence of everything around us, and to find peace within ourselves. So how do we do that? How do we find that inner peace in the face of such deep pain? Well, that's a journey, a path that each of us needs to navigate. As Buddha taught us, peace comes from within, do not seek it without. But what if there's a way to heal? A way to find peace amidst the chaos? Imagine a path not necessarily easy, but definitely rewarding. A path that leads to the cessation of suffering, to a state of inner tranquility, to nirvana. This is the path that Buddha taught us about, a path that could be of immense help as we navigate through the pain of betrayal. Let's delve into Buddha's teachings. He once said, attachment is the root of all suffering. And isn't that what heartbreak is? An attachment to a person, to a dream, to a shared future that no longer exists. Buddha's wisdom encourages us to let go, to detach ourselves from these illusions that cause us so much pain. It's not about forgetting or denying the pain, but rather about accepting it and then releasing it. It's a process, one that requires patience and compassion towards ourselves. So how do we start this process of letting go? It begins with mindfulness. Mindfulness in Buddha's teachings is about being fully present in the moment, about understanding the impermanence of everything around us. It's about observing our emotions and thoughts without judgment, without trying to suppress or change them. It's about acknowledging the pain, the betrayal, the anger, and then allowing them to pass, as all things do. You might be thinking, easier said than done. And you're right, it's not easy. It requires effort and practice, but every journey starts with a single step. And the first step on this path is to breathe, to be present, and to accept. And as you walk down this path, remember, you're not alone. There are countless others who have walked this path before you, who have faced heartbreak, betrayal and pain, and have found their way to peace. They serve as reminders that healing is possible, that peace is possible. Buddha's teachings offer us a guiding light, a beacon in the storm. They remind us that even in the midst of the deepest pain, there is a path to healing, a path to peace. Remember, Buddha said, you only lose what you cling to. And in letting go, we find our way to healing, to peace, and to a greater understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Having embraced the wisdom of Buddha and his teachings, we are now equipped with the tools to heal from betrayal. But how do we translate this wisdom into our daily lives? Let's take a moment to recap the key teachings from Buddha on dealing with betrayal. Firstly, acknowledging our pain and understanding that it is a part of life. Secondly, practicing mindfulness to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. Thirdly, nurturing self-love because we deserve our own affection as much as anyone else. Finally, embracing forgiveness and letting go, releasing ourselves from the chains of resentment and bitterness. These teachings serve as a guiding light, a beacon in the storm of our heartbreak. But remember, these teachings are not just theories or philosophies to be read and forgotten. They are practices to be integrated into our daily lives. It's about being mindful when you're eating your breakfast, fully present with every bite. It's about acknowledging your pain when it surfaces, not pushing it away or trying to hide it. It's about forgiving yourself for any perceived mistakes and understanding that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And most importantly, it's about letting go, releasing the tight grip of control and allowing life to unfold naturally. It's not an easy journey, but it's a rewarding one. And remember, you're not alone. Countless others have walked this path before you and found their way to peace. So take a deep breath and take that first step. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We invite you to explore our other content for more insights and wisdom. Until next time, remember, in the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. Buddha.